Hello and welcome to today's session of programming our little AI game. We are still trying to figure out that agentic system that we are trying to implement. So last time we got it running with LangChain4J. We threw out Google ADK because that wasn't made for it. And just yesterday or the day before yesterday, version 1.5 of LangChain4J was released. Unfortunately, the agent module is still in beta. So this is not part of the original package. I just have to adjust my camera a bit because there's too much green flying around. Great. Okay, and what we want to do today is try and re-implement the whole persistency. And I think I got to a very good point today, actually. So let's see how that worked. Let's go and watch the GitHub desktop client. Let's go there. There it should be. Okay, let's see. 13 hours ago, so that's today. Yeah, like I said, no, I didn't say that. The new version was released for LangChain4J, and I use that now, but for LangChain4J Agentic, we still need to use the beta version, but there's a new version as well. I don't know if they changed anything, but we want to keep up to date. Now, this was the important part. We already implemented the chat memory provider. Let's go to that class really quickly. Say AI service. Yes, that's it. Oh God, I forgot something to drink. That's bad. I'll probably have to do a break at some point because without something to drink, that's gonna be bad. All right, the AI service, yes, and we are creating the dungeon master at one point. That's what we implemented last time, and we tried to use this memory store. Though the memory store is the chat memory store, and that should that's just interface. But at some point, yeah, we are injecting our own Postgre chat memory with the repository and all that stuff. So that is pretty cool, and we can simply use it and put it there in our... No, that's the chat memory provider, like we used to build. That's the same as before, but what we do now is we can put this in our agents. And I put this in the story agent and the choices agent, which combined make our story with some choices. Exactly. And now, yes, one important change. Like I said, I added this chat memory provider, nothing great here. But I think the breakthrough was I added this add memory ID. I did that before and it did not work. So I also added the add v like with the other parameters as well. But for memory ID. And I also used a string for memory ID, even though it's a long variable, because it didn't work any other way. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It's quite possible, but that's all right. We just want it to work. And another important part was, if we generate a new story, we want to give the AI the entity ID. So this is basically the memory ID of our stuff. Right, and that's where I give this over to the AI with these this map of objects. Yeah, and that's what's actually our important part. Now, we got a couple of things ahead of us. So it's basically working. What did I do? Yeah, I merged it in the the main branch, because well, why not? This was a mistake anyway to create this. So let's go back, and I activated Dependabot because I noticed that I did not, and I like this usually to activate it. We got a couple of pull requests. I'm not logged in right now, so I'll do that later. There's a new Vaadin version released, I think also a couple of days ago, and a new Spring Boot version. We can update that at any point. So far, so good. Yes. Now, what let's try it out for once, because otherwise you would have to take my word for it, and that's just not the way I want to inform you. Let's see, there's a new version. I thought I updated it today, but it took a really long time, so probably there was something wrong. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, we already have that. A new game. I think this is a new game anyways, right? Still our hero is Hans. And now there's a couple of things happening. A couple of calls into our Ollama, and I think the first thing is it has to be loaded, or maybe not. It's still running in the GPU, so these calls are pretty fast. Oh no. But there are a lot of calls, and that's what I want to change as well. That's why it takes a pretty long time sometimes. You decide to attack Gorthok with your longsword. I fear that there is something wrong. But let's take one step at a time. The template cannot be null or blank. What template are you talking about? Vaadin services. Validation utils. Yeah, illegal argument. So, okay, we got something. We want to chat with the chat model, and the chat model is this one without the memory. Ah, okay. Generate new response, and where did that come from? Generate game title. Ah, yes. Very well. And something is wrong with the template, which is kind of strange, because as far as I'm concerned, I did not change anything about this one. Did we get a game title? Doesn't look that way. But we battle the Crimson Beast. Hans faces the fearsome fiend and Crimson Beast. What? No, there's nothing about this. Okay, let's ignore that error for now. I'm not sure what this is all about. Let's just try if the memory works for now. And how do we do this? By trying something. Attempt to reason with Gorthok. I think that's very unusual. So we'll see. For once, the name Gorthok, for whatever reason, will be interesting. That should get mentioned in the next one, and what we try to do. You decide to attack the worm kraken with your longsword. So this is completely wrong. I may have gotten you the wrong information about that this works. Let's see. Give me a second. As usual, I'm trying to get the Twitcher to work, but it does not, so this is fine. Good. The template. Are we still talking about the title? Generate function calls. All right. So the one thing I would like to see is, what about the chat memory? Yeah, we need to start that in debug mode and then see if there is a memory ID, and if so, what it is. So there's one thing that we get the messages. That would be interested what messages are returned here, if it's called. And the other thing is also what messages are stored. And what messages are deleted. Also quite interesting. Let's try this again. Again, we have our Hans, and we got this very cryptic message. Let's put that somewhere safe. I need another second to... just to open Visual Studio Code without all my other code visible. Seems like this is too much to handle. All right. Got this. New window, yes. Yes, now we have this. And we want a new file. Yes, wonderful. Now we copy that this one. Yep. Great. And then we can move on and see what is actually returned. Message. What's the entity here? All right. Now what's returned? Ah, yes. That is a great point to break. Message 0. That is fine in this case because there's nothing going on. But we have a new user message, and that should be our opening text. The adventure should be yeah. All that stuff. Our prompt, basically, right? So that's good. The next call is more interesting. So now we have the second message. We have our own old message, which is great. That means it works. It doesn't load any other messages. I was afraid of that just now. And what do we get? Another one. We still have only one message because the other one is not was not saved. We did not create a new message, but now we do. Messages 2. Ah, yes. Now we have our opening prompt and the AI message, which is you stand at the edge of ravage clearing. So this is the opening message. And if we load that again. We have the same user message twice, which is interesting, with a different ID. So these are two separate objects. Maybe we are doing something wrong with the call anyways. I'm not sure. It could be, yeah, that could be that we are using, if we're going to the AI services, we are using the same chat memory provider for two separate agents. And I don't know if this is a good method, but this is all right. Well, okay, wait a second. What's going on here? These are all my examples, I think. Yeah. I think that's all my messages so far, so we don't want that. Right now, this is the general messages. No, okay. Oh yeah. What's the ID here? Default. Where did this come from? Generate new story. So this is the input. The input is zero choice. The memory ID is something. And somehow it says, well, the ID is default. This is quite interesting. Okay, we are still moving through it. And now lots of messages are stored, and that of course is bullshit. That's not at all what we want. The size of the messages is ridiculous. Every message is loaded here, so that's not good. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so this one works. No, does it? This one is the old way, the old chat model without agents. But this doesn't give any messages. That's quite possible. Yeah, I mean, it's without memory anyways. Single slot chat memory store, so it doesn't store anything, probably. Without memory, yeah. So this is still without memory. And then again without memory. There are many calls. I mean, yeah, there are a couple of calls, but not that much. Now we're done? Yeah, we are done. But this is not good. Let's try it again. Let's call him Peter. Now, generate new story part. This is working with the dungeon master, with the agents. And here we have a size of 0. This is the first call, and at least here we get a very specific ID which we want. This is good. Even though, wait a second, this is not a long variable. Okay, again, if we go back to the AI services and we have, no, it's in the game view, which is completely wrong. We have to change that anyways. But here the game ID is long. So this doesn't make sense at all. What's coming in here? It's the long. It's a long variable, which is the right. That's the right thing. It's pretty high. I don't know why it's using such a high thing. I don't think I had 1,700 games. That would be very, very much. Anyways, it does not use this. See, the ID here is completely different. And I don't know why. I don't know what this is. This is the message chat. A message window chat memory. Let's go into... Can we go into the hidden frames? Yes. Here we go. So this is adding a message. This is the new user message, which is great. And this is... It has some ID. Where does this get its ID? From the builder, validation utils, ensure not null. Okay, I'm guessing this is a different ID. So it's building its own ID, which is fine, but we have to know about it. Because it's also stored this way. What do we do? Let's go back to the AI services. Something is very wrong here. We have the chat memory store. We have the memory. Yeah, we don't have the memory ID. What is the memory ID here? And where does it come from? It comes from the agent, I think. So let's go here. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to this point. Let's just debug it through. This is all wrong now. I'm really excited to see what this will be. All right, let's create another game here. This time with Marcus. Let's do this. And here we go. We have our memory ID. Where does it come from? Where? My good friend. Start the story. Oh yes, start the story. That's the proxy we are using. And actually there's a memory ID. Very interesting. So at some point, I think that's really bad to debug. Okay, here we have our memory ID, but that's not what's created. There's okay, so that's the state. But here's our actual memory ID, and that is very different. Whew. All right. So, given that we'll get this correct memory ID here, this is created here. Yeah. Okay. And now, this is completely wrong. I guess this is not what we want at all. But we have to get the memory ID somewhere. We have to read it from somewhere. At the same time, we don't even have to get it completely. It's simply not set later on. Right now, it is set in our AI service. Right now, the chat memory provider is set here. Okay, let's read a bit of documentation. I think there's no way around it. The memory. All agents discussed so far are stateless. Yes, that they do not maintain any context or memory of previous interactions. Yes, it is possible to provide agents with chat memory, allowing them to maintain context across multiple invocations. Great. And that's what we are doing. So this is something we are doing as well. This works somehow. And generally this is enough for single agent and used in isolation, but can be limiting for agents participating in an agentic system. That's what we have. Supposing that also the technical and legal experts have been provided with a memory, and also the expert router agent has been redefined to have it. So these are different agents, and so this is ask. They ask this and ask that, always with the same memory ID. Won't give the expected result because the second question will be routed to the legal expert, which is now invoked for the first time and has no memory of the previous question. Yeah, okay. Okay. To solve this problem, it is necessary to provide the legal expert with the context and what happened before its invocation. And this is another use case where the information automatically stored in the agentic scope can come to help. Yes, in particular, the agentic scope keeps track of the sequence of invocations of all agents and can produce a context concatenating those invocations in a single conversation. That's what we had last time, for instance, defining a context summarizer agent. But this is not what we need. We don't need to summarize anything. Using this agent, the legal expert can be redefined and provided with a context summarization of the previous conversation so that it can take into account the previous interactions when answering the new question. So this is a new interface. Why we would need this, I really don't know. And agentic scope, I think we skipped that part. The LangChain4J module introduces the concept of an agentic scope, which is a collection of data shared among the agents participating in an agentic system. Well, well, well. I think that's something very important here. It is automatically created when the main agent of the agentic system is invoked and programmatically provided through callbacks when necessary. Right. And what do we do? How do we get the agentic scope now? Oh yeah, I think that's a mistake on my end. Once again, this is here. There's the agentic scope. That's a local variable. Agentic. Huh. I don't know if this is really what we need, but it's something we can use. So let's try it. Let's give this another agent, the context summarizer. Please import this class just as it is, and then we can use this as well. This is interesting. So we need this. The context summarizer, yeah. Where is this defined? Nowhere. So this is another. This is something that's. Is this an agent? No, I don't think so. It's the same as a AI service, I think. But I don't know. And then this is the context summarized. So the context will be one prompt again. This sounds really wrong, to be honest. I don't think that's what we want at all. So in this case, the actual user message will be something like this. Your legal expert. Yeah, okay. So it summarizes all of that. So the summarized context discussed here as an example of possible context generation for an agent is of general usefulness. So it is possible to define it on an agent in a more convenient way using summarized context method like in. But we actually don't want to summarize anything, I think. Do we really need to summarize everything every time we do something? That doesn't seem good at all. And now the summarized context. What is this now? What? Using the summarized context. Okay. So we don't need this interface at all because it's already implemented. Great. Yeah, cool. Cool. All right. Then this is it. Agentic scope, registry, and persistence is a transient data structure that is created and used during the execution of an agentic system. That's what we want. Blah, 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 blah. Agent effect, agentic scope. That's not what we want. Are purely in-memory data structures. Agentic scope persistent. Oh, guys, this is quite weirdly documented, I would say. So far, so good. But now we need an agentic scope store. Oh, come on. What is this? Now we have to implement that again? A record. Okay. This is fairly easy. Memory ID and agent ID. So this looks like simply slightly more complicated persistence that also stores the agent AI and default agentic scope. What is this? That's the kind registered persistent. All right. The agentic scope to persist, but in this scope it says if it's persisted or not. Ephemeral. That's a word that I just read in what was it? Kubernetes. That's where this comes in as well, for the storage, the local storage of pods is ephemeral. Never heard that before. Agentic scope key, yeah, and then we can delete it. So the agentic scope key is like the key. That should be easy to implement, but still, why do I have to do this? And yeah, well, will we do that now? There are some agents, bank tool, create account, exchange. What's the difference between P and V at this point? So do they have any kind of persistence? I don't think so. Yeah. I'm not really in the mood to implement that right now live. It's just quite boring. Okay. Let's do something. Let's create a store. Postgre agentic score implements this one. Now implement the methods, yeah. And we'll simply see what's coming up here. I would be interested in seeing how this all works. Wonderful. And the context summarizer, let's leave that out for now. Hopefully we don't need this. Could be, could not be, but it seems like the summarize context, yeah, actually that's, I think that's easier. All right. Oh man. But I read a post yesterday from someone from this team. It seems like the LangChain4J team, and I'll write her, Liz, I think, how to implement this, because this shouldn't be that hard, I think. Let's name him Peter again. Okay, right away we are using this, and this is great. We have the memory ID and the wait a second. Yeah, the agent ID. Yeah. The agent ID is also great. So this is the untyped agent. We have 3 agents in this instance, and the untyped agent is the sort of sequencing agent. So that's the first one, and we simply return false. I think that's not a good idea. Now we get this here. It loads messages. There's no message for this ID, which is correct. But then this is also correct, okay? Great. But now the system is losing track. It's running out of control. Oh, still only 1 message. Good for you. 2 messages, 2 of the same, right? No. Okay. Yeah. That's the response. Wonderful. Now we have 3 messages. We have this user message 2 times now. Why? I still don't know. But it could be that we are making, It could be that we are making some mistakes. That's not unlikely. That's not what we want. Okay, so that's where the problem arises. Memory ID default. Where does that come from? We never want to have, default chat memory. What is this? Memory ID should not be default, you fool. Default AI services. So the method is, give me choices. I made some mistakes. All right, let's lose this. If we don't need it, let's get rid of it. Yeah, throw that away. But what I did not do is, this one has the memory ID, and yeah, just leaving it for now. But we have another agent, the choices agent, and this one does not have the memory ID. So at some point, we are calling this one with the current story, but the memory ID. So that should work now. That would make sense. So the choices agent loses memory or has some really strange memory, and then it goes in and completely destroys the first agent that is actually working just fine. That could be Hans the second, even though I'm sure he's not the second. Yeah. All right. This was all good. But now we still have this. And what kind of invocation do we have? The tool service, the messages. Now I would like to see the parameters are fine. You are Hans the Second, a brave adventurer. I love that. I love the title. But still, start the story. Okay, so that's not our choices agent, but still the old one, the story agent. We still have the memory ID. Let's go find out what. Give me choices. Okay, you see, now we have the right memory ID. That's great. That's really something wonderful. And now we get 3 messages. So now we have this right memory here. Maybe that was all that was it. But still, I think we have some problems. Let's see. The ID is this. Now we have 8 messages. Yeah, it keeps repeating this. And I think I have something configured wrong here. You're Hans the Second. You're an assistant. Yes, you gaze upon. Okay, so after this one, you're an assistant with the choices. The AI generates a message. You gaze upon the worm fang's lair. Okay, so there's something about the worm fang, and it takes this and gives us choices, probably. Yes. And this is quite something great. The only thing that I don't like is it actually changes the message. But maybe that's not too bad. Delete. should delete something? Hello? Why? Well, yeah. We got the idea default. Where does that come from? Oh, from this one. This is perfect. This is fine. Yeah. We're all good. Ooh, great. I'm excited to see what happens because, as you can see here, right now there are at least 3 calls. Well, okay, that does make sense. But there are quite a lot of calls to the Ollama, to our LLM, and I don't know why that is. But we have that text now, and what do we want? We cast a spell, all right? That's what we'll do. We send this, this saves something or tries to save. The memory ID is correct. Now let's see what kind of messages we get. None. And this is not correct. Okay. What call is this? Start the story. So why should we start the story again? Right? I think that's again my mistake. What are the messages now? You are a storyteller. So this is the same stuff again. And if we go back to our thing, so the input is, we create we create a new dungeon master every time. Which shouldn't be a problem. It's not great in terms of performance, I'm sure. But in theory, we can do this because the memory ID is something we have to store. How did we do this before? I think with this, with memory, this one, we used this. And we said memory ID is this long ID. So we gave it the memory ID. And that's something we can't do now. And that is not a small problem. So the request is a chat request. How can we put the memory ID inside an agent or an agent request? Okay, let me do one thing because I'm getting annoyed by this. Generate new story part is fine, but this should not be in the game view. This should definitely be in the AI service. So we'll get rid of that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is all not that great, right? So these two things are actually something that we don't want to have here. Yep. Let's change this. You do have to excuse me, it's been a long day today, so I'm kind of drained. But this is no excuse for bad code. We still want to maintain a hint of quality. And this is how I'm trying to do it. We'll get there. Private void something, I don't care. Throw this in. We want to have string as a result, generate new story part. This is actually some public function, yes. And this is also something, and it returns this. Here we go. This is all still wrong. I don't know why. Cannot resolve method. Well, you should be able to now. Yeah, but you are not. That's because we still need to go there. And then we cut that. And we throw it in here. And then we are fine. And the AI service is actually this one. So yeah, we can just delete this. And if we call this now, we actually get a good response. So we don't have to do this here, but this AI service is generate new story part. And yeah, so this is, these are two different calls. One time it's like a new story, and then the other one, let's name that right as well. This is actually the choice. This is generate first story part, right? So this is the beginning of our great epic journey. And so we change this to not do this at all. Why is this here? Because we're still in debug mode. This is our story. So this works now. I don't think we need this anymore. It made sense a long time ago, but not now. And we actually want to change this in show new story part or handle new story part, but it all should change, right? Just because we are not doing that asynchronous anymore. So actually, if we are doing this, maybe okay, 1 second. We are clearing that and saying this one. And why do we do this in the UI thread? Because I don't think we need this. Anytime we are doing something like that, we should access the current UI anyways. So let's leave that out. And we are simply doing this now. Can put that in one line. No, we can't. No, actually we can, because we don't need the clear anymore. We set the value in all its singularity. So we don't need this anymore. And now we simply handle the finished story part, but first of all, we need the AI service to generate a new story part with So this is not the first story part because we get actual choices. This is the second one. Here we go. Can we format that in a beautiful way? No, why not? I don't know. Here we go. Wonderful. This is the first part. And the other call is here, and that's actually the first part of it. And this is not a new, but it's the first story part. And then this is fine. This is fine. This is not fine. This is fine. Great. This is some nice refactoring. Now we really generate the new story part here in this AI service where it belongs. Wonderful. Okay, where were we on the actual topic? So something is working and something is not. I don't know how to put the memory ID inside the agent. Let me actually commit this. This is some minor refactoring. I don't know yet if this is right, and this I don't know. I don't know if we need this, but this is the refactoring at agent. So what are these parameters? I don't think so, but let's call it that just because we want to move on. So this is an important part. Add memory to the choices agent. That's important. And now this is difficult. Let's see this. Hey, why is there a compiler error? Oh man, come on. Now this is committed and pushed. Every time I push too eagerly, this happens. So let's put this in a beautiful single line. And title this as refactoring, even though it's not. It's actually fixing. Refactoring. Refactoring AI service. Phew. But this is the real deal, and what do I do now? So if I call the story agent, start the story, then I can say, hey, this is your memory ID. This is great, but this is not what we want. And if we say, hey, you don't have a memory ID, you just have a variable that is called memory ID, what happens then? Then the fallback is the default again. I'm pretty sure. So we need to tell this story agent that there is a memory ID, that it has to use some specific memory ID. We actually have to override the memory ID. And that's not possible. That is not possible. Okay. Still, if we are using this where does the memory ID come from? Because in this area, well, yeah, it's set. It's set by the system internally. I cannot change the memory ID. Okay. So let's backtrack. Okay, we could read out the memory ID and store this. This is actually what happens now. But this works fine as long as we are in the same game. But yeah, and if we are not changing the objects, if we are not recreating the dungeon master, right? As soon as we are recreating all these agents and the chat memory provider, no, this doesn't matter. As soon as we are recreating that agent, for example, a new memory ID is set. So I'm back into in setting the memory ID. That's something that we need to be able to do. And right now, I don't see any possibility to do this. Here it says memory ID, which is great. And here we have the memory ID. But where can we manually set the memory ID? Here. But this is a specific call, and in an agentic cooperative environment, we don't want to set this specifically. Fun. Okay, so that's what I will need to find out for next time. I'm sorry that this session was quite unproductive. It really was. And I thought at the beginning, oh, I already figured it out. We can focus on something else. But it turns out, no, we can't. And I am pretty sorry about that. What I will do, I'll reach out to the LangChain4J team and see if anybody can help me there, because this seems like a pretty simple problem, and it could be that I'm just seeing something wrong, that I'm doing something wrong, and maybe there's a easy fix for it. But for today, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you still enjoyed this little experiment. I certainly do. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thanks for any like or subscription. That's great. And most of all, I would enjoy people commenting, especially in the live section. But I know that there are a lot of people who just can't make this time slot, and I'm sorry for that. So anyway, see you next time, hopefully. And have a great day. Goodbye.